Welcome back to Like Minimal, where I aim to empower myself and other people to create the lives we are wanting through authenticity, wellness, and a healthy mindset. I'm Megan, and today I'm talking about something that is changing my life, which is learning about universal intelligence and universal laws and what that has to do with creating the life that I am most wanting. So I've got my coffee and I've got the house to myself, and this is going to be a long video. The purpose of this video is to share something that has shifted my perspective regarding how the world works and has given me a new sense of empowerment in the hopes that it might also resonate with other people. So I want to provide you with an overview of my understanding of what I've been learning about, as well as resources that explain it more fully for anybody who's interested. So it's not a cult or a religion, and I'm not pushing it on anybody. I'm simply sharing what's been helping me in this life, as that's what my channel is about. So I'm going to be talking about my understanding of how the universe works, the law of attraction, and our intuition, and how all this relates to making our dream lives reality. So let's get into it. I'm going to explain everything in the best way I can based on how I currently understand it to be. First off, I want to acknowledge that there are many videos on YouTube about the law of attraction, and a lot of the ones that I've watched present the concept in kind of a way that is a bit trendy and flat, and I feel like they fail to acknowledge the source from which the information originates. And I think that leaving out a lot of the details can cause people to see the law of attraction as victim blaming and just plain crazy talk. I do think it's crazy, but in like a cool way. So I watched many videos about law of attraction before, and it never really resonated with me because of this. So what I want to suggest is that for anybody who's interested in this information and it resonates with you and you want to go deeper in the understanding of it, go further than people like me talking about it on YouTube and go to the source. I'll share with you my favorite source later on in the video. Before I do that, I'm going to share with you the key concepts I've been learning about that I find most useful in understanding how it all works. And of course, I can't say this is 100% for sure what's going on, but to be honest with you, out of all of the theories and philosophies out there, this is really the only one that makes any sense to me. And in addition, I feel like only good can come from putting these concepts to use. Looking back on my own life experiences, it's easy for me to see that this is how I've gotten what I've gotten. So the first thing I want to talk about is what we are. So based on what I understand at this moment, we are a physical extension of a greater non-physical consciousness, or what is also sometimes called our inner being. We chose to come into this physical experience in order to expand, as we are part of the universe and the universe is eternally expanding. So we're here in the physical to experience freedom and joy, and that helps us to expand. So our emotions are what guide us through this physical experience, and when we experience a positive emotion, we know we are moving in the right direction as far as keeping up with our inner being, who has already become all that we aspire to be. All that our physical selves aspire to become. When we experience a negative emotion, our intuition is telling us that we're moving away from what we want. So it said that the way to become all that we are meant to become is to follow the river downstream, so to say, and do what feels good and feels like relief, rather than to try to paddle upstream and effort our way through resistance to an outcome. Okay, now we're getting to the law of attraction. So, the law of attraction is a universal law, and it states that that which is like unto itself is drawn. So we're magnets that are attracting that which we are feeling and thinking. In this way, through our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, we're creating our own realities and our own life experiences. When we are feeling poor, we cannot attract financial wealth. When we are feeling abundance, we cannot attract poverty. Of course, it's natural to think how if you could create your own reality, you would not have created the negative aspects you're experiencing or have experienced in the past. I think this is why some people like to say that the law of attraction is victim blaming. Like the law of gravity, though, it's always present whether you're conscious of it or not. So it's always acting, and it's possible to unintentionally create negative experiences and situations if you don't know how you're getting what you're getting. So my favorite source for this information, which I'll share soon, says, without exception, that which you give thought to, you begin to invite into your experience. If you stay focused on it long enough, it absolutely, under all conditions, will be yours, whether that be good or bad. So whether you're thinking about what you do want or what you don't want, the universe only hears the thing, not if you want it or not. So whether you're thinking, I don't want to get sick, or I do want to get sick, the universe only hears the sick part. If you're thinking, I want to have perfect physical health, the universe hears the part about health. In addition, feeling the emotion of sickness is putting out a vibration to which sickness is attracted. Feeling the emotion of perfect physical health puts out the vibration to which health is attracted. So we get what we think about, speak about, act about, and feel strong emotion about, whether we want it or not. The next concept is the law of creation, and there are two steps to the law of creation. The first step is the wanting of it. The second step is the allowing of it, or expecting it. So nothing will come into your experience unless you invite it through emotional thought and great expectation. Actions are an extension of your thoughts and feelings. They say to take action in joy to create the experiences you want. This has to do with getting into alignment, which I'll talk about in a minute. The next concept is the law of allowing. So that's allowing others to be who they are and do what they do with love rather than tolerance or resistance. And the diversity of desires and experiences causes more universal expansion. So of course there's a lot of destructive action in this world taken out of fear, lack, anger, etc. However, when we focus on that, we create more of it. When we focus on what we do want, we create more of that. Oprah likes to say, what we focus on expands. The next concept is alignment. We're in the optimal state for creating what we do want when we are experiencing joy and great positive emotion. This is also called being in alignment, implying that we're aligned with our inner beings, thinking, feeling, speaking, and acting as if we already have what we are wanting, therefore matching the vibration of that which we are wanting. So it's recommended to prioritize getting into alignment as often as you can in order to feel great, but to also be at the vibration necessary to bring what you want into your actual experience. So it means feeling the positive emotions and thinking the thoughts you feel in the having of what you want before you actually have it. So it's not easy. So taking aligned action is much easier though than struggling one's way to a result. For example, it's much easier for me to organize my thoughts and create this video when I'm in a good headspace, feeling excited about the day and life, than it is when I'm feeling tired, uninspired, and not into doing it. And of course the quality is better, although I'm rushing, than it would be if I was forcing myself to get it done. So everyone is different and has different desires and enjoys different things, so naturally getting into alignment will look different for each person. And I'm still learning what gets me into alignment. So far I found that listening to or watching videos about this topic gets me feeling empowered, as does listening to high vibrational music and following what feels good in the moment when I feel like it's possible. I also feel empowered and inspired after watching or reading about a person who's created the life that they are wanting. So for some people, it might help to exercise or read or go for a walk or hang out with their cat or play some music, etc. I think I've been trying to get to this place through the work I've been doing with minimalism and the journal and values and habits and all that stuff. So now into the resources portion. I'm going to share my favorite resource for this information as well as some other resources that are helpful for me in applying the concepts. And I'm going to give you a lot of links in the description below, in the description box, so you can just go crazy if you're interested. So if you've watched the documentary The Secret or read the book of the same name by Rhonda Byrne, you would be familiar with some of these ideas. You might also notice that some of the more unconventional details that I've spoken about have been left out of that material. The documentary and the book are partly based on the teachings of Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks is my favorite resource for this information. Abraham was originally in the movie The Secret, but was cut out for fear of the mainstream audience not really being ready for Abraham. So who is Abraham? Abraham Hicks is not a person. Abraham Hicks is the name of a non-physical entity, a collection of consciousness that gives blocks of thought to a woman named Esther Hicks, who translates it into words for all of us to hear. Some people call this channeling. So maybe you can see why Rhonda Byrne might have left that out of The Secret. So Oprah talked so much about The Secret when it first came out. She talked about it on her television show, which I'll link in the description below. And I just rewatched both episodes, and there's definitely a lot of great information there, and I love Oprah so much and I miss her. So Oprah talked a lot about these concepts, but was also afraid to have Abraham on her television show for fear that the mainstream audience just wasn't ready for it. But she did interview Abraham speaking through Esther on her radio show on Oprah Radio, which I'll also link below. And in that recording, Oprah calls Abraham the secret behind the secret. Abraham called themselves Abraham because it's the name of a teacher, and the last name is Hicks because they work with Esther Hicks and her late husband Jerry Hicks. So I won't go into too much detail here for the sake of time, but basically Esther just quiets her mind and is able to access Abraham. Over the many years, they've spoken and given lectures with Abraham. They have spoken on basically every topic you can imagine, relationships, disabilities, career, health, etc. There are hours and hours and hours of footage of Abraham speaking on these topics on YouTube that you can find. There are also a ton of books or audiobooks that Abraham and Esther and Jerry have put out together, and I'll link those below. There's also some free recordings of the general concepts on their website that I'll link. So I'm very convinced that Abraham is who they say they are after watching so many hours of videos and listening to so many of their books. I don't think there's any way a human could be so consistent and clear with the information given over such a long period of time. And I also just think about how weird the world is and the universe is in general. So, and we're all made of the same material as everything else in the universe, so why not? And again, I do see it play out in my own life and the lives of people around me. The other resource that I'm actually going to mention now in the video is the podcast, The Lively Show. And I'll link a ton of other resources down below, as I said before, that are inspiring and helping me to apply these concepts in real life. So it was the lively show that made me reconsider my position on the law of attraction after the host, Jess, explained all the details I already mentioned on an episode. And it made more sense to me than the surface level explanations that I had seen on YouTube. Jess has also been applying these concepts in her own life for the past 19 months and actually just released an episode of the podcast in which she talks about how that's been going and how her life has changed. I highly recommend listening to this podcast if you're interested in intentionally applying the law of attraction and hearing other people's experiences. So there will be many links in the description box below. So congratulations to you if you've made it this far in the video and you've put up with me rushing through it. I apologize for that, but I didn't want it to be an hour long. I hope that maybe even one of you found this information to be useful. If it doesn't resonate with you, I don't take it personally. And I'd love to hear about your personal experience with this universal law in the comments below if you have any. I'm going to be sharing one of mine down there. And if you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up because that's really cool. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe if you haven't already. See you soon.